Hey there, and welcome to Scary Tales. I know many of you love listening to these stories to relax or fall asleep. Before you drift off, drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from. If you're enjoying the videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps. Story 1. The Hitchhiker. Eric was driving late at night in Wisconsin. The road was empty. Rain poured heavily, making it hard to see. The windshield wipers moved back and forth, but the storm didn't stop. Suddenly, he saw a young woman standing by the road. She wore a thin dress and no coat. Her hair was soaked, and she looked freezing. Eric felt bad. He pulled over and rolled down the window. "Do you need a ride?" he asked. The woman nodded and got in. She didn't say much, just gave him an address a few miles away. Eric noticed how cold the car felt. He turned up the heat, but it didn't help. As they drove, Eric tried to make small talk. "What's your name?" he asked. The woman didn't answer. She just stared out the window. When they reached the address, Eric turned to say goodbye, but the seat was empty. The woman was gone. Confused, Eric got out of the car. He knocked on the door of the house. An old woman answered. "Can I help you?" she asked. Eric explained what happened. He described the young woman. The old woman's face turned pale. "That was my daughter," she whispered. "She died in an accident on that road years ago. She was trying to get home that night." Eric felt a chill run down his spine. He thanked the woman and left. He never drove on that road again. Story 2. The Attic Cry. Sarah and her family moved into an old house in Ohio. It was big and affordable, but something felt off. The first night, Sarah heard a door slam. She checked the house, but everyone was asleep. The next day, she heard footsteps in the hallway, but no one was there. One night, Sarah heard crying. It came from the attic. It sounded like a child. She was scared, but decided to check. She grabbed a flashlight and climbed the stairs. The attic was dark and dusty. In the corner, she saw an old rocking chair. It was moving by itself. On the chair was a doll. Its glass eyes seemed to follow her. Sarah felt a cold breeze. She picked up the doll and noticed its dress was torn. The next day, Sarah asked her neighbors about the house. One old man shook his head. "A little girl lived there years ago," he said. "She died in the attic. That doll was hers." Sarah decided to hold a small memorial for the girl. She lit a candle and placed the doll in a box. After that, the noises stopped. But Sarah never went to the attic again. Story 3. The Ghost Passenger. Asterisk, asterisk. Jason was a trucker driving through Nevada. It was a long, lonely road. The desert stretched for miles. He stopped at a small gas station. The clerk looked nervous. "Be careful out there," the clerk said. Strange things happen on this road." Jason laughed it off. He filled up his truck and drove away. A few miles down the road, he felt uneasy. The radio started to crackle. Then it went silent. Jason glanced to his right. He froze. A man was sitting in the passenger seat. The man looked pale and thin. His clothes were old and torn. His eyes were hollow. Jason slammed on the brakes. The truck skidded to a stop. When he looked again, the seat was empty. Jason's heart raced. He drove to the next town and told someone what happened. The person nodded. "That road is cursed," they said. "Many drivers have seen ghosts there. Some even disappear." Jason never took that route again. Story 4. The Whispering Woods. In Pennsylvania, there's a trail called the Whispering Woods. Locals say it's haunted. A group of friends decided to explore it. They laughed at the warnings. "It's just a story," they said. They started walking. The woods were quiet at first. Then they heard whispers. The voices were soft but clear. They seemed to come from the trees. Mike, one of the friends, stopped. "Did you hear that?" he asked. "Someone said my name." The group laughed. "You're imagining things," they said. But Mike didn't laugh. He looked scared. Suddenly, he ran into the woods. The others called after him, but he didn't stop. They searched for hours, but couldn't find him. Days later, searchers found Mike's body deep in the woods. His face was frozen in fear. The locals say the voices are spirits. They lure people into the woods. Once you follow them, you're never seen again. Story 5. The Haunted Hotel Room. Claire was visiting New Orleans. She booked a room in a historic hotel. The clerk gave her the key to room 306. "Enjoy your stay," he said with a smile. The room looked nice, but felt strange. The air was heavy. The lights flickered. That night, Claire woke up suddenly. She felt like someone was watching her. She opened her eyes and saw a woman standing at the foot of her bed. The woman wore old-fashioned clothes. Her face was pale, and her eyes were hollow. Claire screamed and ran to the front desk. She told the clerk about the ghost. The clerk looked shocked. "Room 306? he asked. "That room has been closed for years. A guest died there long ago. You shouldn't have been able to stay there." Claire checked out immediately. She never returned to that hotel. Thanks for listening to Scary Tales. Which story was the scariest? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more spooky stories. Sweet dreams, if you can sleep.